We're live on Spiritual Psychics TV with Paul Bannister and his guests for Spiritual Talk.
Hi everybody and welcome here to SPTV and Spiritual Talk. We have another great evening in store for you this evening, and our lovely guests, I've just twisted their arm, so we're going to do some messages tonight, and I'm super excited about that because we don't always do messages. But before we go on and say hello to some of you guys, I just wanted to give a big shout out to Ashley Oliver, for stepping in for me 2 weeks ago. Thank you so much. You did a brilliant job for me. I really appreciate that. But I'm back, and it's good to be back. And it's Thursday evening. It's 8 o'clock. And where else would you want to be, frankly? And we've got another great guest. So, guys, let us know where you're coming in from. It'll be good to see what part of the world you're coming in from too. But also, don't forget to like and share. And, guys, we'd really appreciate it if you could support us. If you could subscribe to YouTube or follow us on TikTok, that would be fantastic. So, and also Facebook too. If you could follow us on Facebook, we'd really appreciate it. It helps to support the channel. It gets us out there, and it gets some of the great information. And from my perspective, some of the great guests that we have on there, information they like to share. So, and this is a very much an interactive show, guys. This show is for you as well to ask those questions. And don't worry if you think they're silly, because I bet your bottom dollar somebody else will be thinking about the same thing. So please, this is your show. Welcome to Spiritual Talk here on SPTV. So come on and say hi. I can't see the messages yet then, Richard. I'm not on my own. I've got the lovely Richard here in the background. He's in my ears. You can see I've got my headphones on, so you can't hear his voice. Hi, Laura, and she's coming in from Canada, BC. That's British Columbia, I believe. Good to see you on here. Great. Oh, Shaz the fairy. Hi, Shaz. Good to see you on here. And we got Judith as well coming in from. Oh, see, I want to do my Scottish accent, but our next guest might get upset. But hi, Judith. Thank you for joining us from Scotland. Hi, Joe. Good to see you. Good to see you, and that young man with the beard next to you. Hi, Jody. Good to see you too. And she's saying good evening. Great matching pajamas there. And Michael, hello, Michael. Good to see you too. Oh, you're coming in from Air. That's fantastic. And Line, hi, Line. You're coming in from California. Wow, we are international tonight. And Mo, hi, Mo. She's coming in from Spain. Oh, glorious Spain. Oh, it looks like it's a really hot emoji there. Hi, Cherie Louise. And it doesn't say where you're coming in from. Oh, and our guest in the background just told us you're coming in from Scotland, I believe. And we got Catherine. Hi, Catherine from Cornwall. Richard, shall we just get our guest in now and introduce her? And ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute pleasure. And you may already know this lady already from SPTV. We have the amazing Clara Macfarlane. Welcome, Clara.
Hello, Paul, and hi, Richard. Dan, thank you for having me here this evening. It's lovely to be here.
It's good to hear. It's good to see you. It's good to be here on Spiritual Talk. And well, our opening guest is always, how did you get yourself into mediumship?
Probably the cliche that most people say, and it is becoming a cliche. From a young kid, I had my imaginary friends, and family brought me up with religion, and I was basically against the grain religion. Studied culture, studied everything because I just knew there was something else out there in our unseen worlds. And the more study culture, religion, even mediumship I looked at, because I kept thinking this heaven everybody's going to must be somewhere then they're talking to Jesus, God, Muhammad, Allah, whatever. And then it was just through studies. I was self-developed, and then eventually I found circles, and it's like anything. Found a few circles, they didn't resonate with me, and it was just going around my teaching to see where I could find what resonated with me. And here I am now.
And you also have your show here on SBTV on Friday.
I do, and I'm so nervous at this side.
It is a different kettle of fish, isn't it, being a guest?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, we are so pleased that you're here today. But I heard that you also, as a child, you could be, am I allowed to use the word difficult in terms of God
Yes,
belief?
yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
I was very difficult. When we were younger, I'm not going to say my age, but back in the day, you could get the little clout or slap in the ear. And even
Yeah,
as a kid, when I used to go to Sunday school and church and even some of my family chapel, everything I ever heard was always, if you're good, you go to heaven. If you're bad, you go to the big bad fire. That's all I ever heard. And I'd say, right, okay, so if you maybe pinched a biscuit, you shouldn't have pinched. I'd go, oh my goodness, I'm going to the big bad fire. And these kind of things. And it was this, you have to be born again and take Jesus into your life. And I'm going, what? So I'm saying, right, okay. And I kept saying, this isn't right. So I would then go to Sunday school and I would start questioning Noah's Ark. So how do we have all these animals all over the world making it to this place in Syria, getting to the ark within this certain time frame? Then I would say, how can Jesus get into the desert or whatever, 40 days and 40 nights with the human body and not being able to eat or drink without something going wrong internally? And even it was things like in the chapels, again, it was the same sort of scenario, but the Virgin Mary was higher. And I'm
yeah,
going, why am I praying to all these people I can't see? Why were we always going to the bad fire? And then it was getting to the stage I'd say, right, so if we're good, we'll go to heaven. Yeah. What do they do in heaven? We don't know. You have to wait till you get there. What do we do
okay.
in hell? You burn in the bad fire. Right, okay. So I kept questioning these kind of things, and I thought, no, this is not normal behavior. And I don't know how many times I was clouted, and it was clear. It was always clear. And because I questioned constantly about the animals, about the crucifixion. Why would somebody send his own child then to be murdered? And I'm going, no. And I was always told I was too inquisitive, basically. And I thought I'm going to have to do my own homework here. And there came a stage in life where I had to hide my own books
Yeah,
because I was reading so much in different cultures. I started reading about the quantum fields, about physics, how it all worked out there. And for some people, they can look at it then like the Matrix. I would look at the science of the brain, the part of the brain we can't touch. How are we tapping into this unseen world? And how are they tapping to us?
yeah.
And then I would then take it back to mum and dad and the family, and I would say, right, where did Jesus go? He went to heaven. And I'd say, right, so that's another world. Yeah. It's up in the sky. Yeah. So where? So how do you know you can talk to him while you're praying then? So everything just went, what we call pitong sort of thing. And I became the little sore thumb in the family. And even to this day, there's sometimes everyone gets invited to a church or a chapel gathering. I don't, because I have too many questions. And it's quite interesting because my twin once got invited to go to a church event because he was quite, oh yeah, this is great, asking questions. But then it's sort of just sat. Whereas as a critical thinking point of view, I asked too much. And they actually said to me, your twin can come, but don't you come because you ask too many questions.
So I love that though, because I mean, I think we tend to just take things for read and we just, we go to school, we have religious education, we pretty much don't question. And you were probably maybe even asking some of the bigger questions from your parents. And did your parents just let it slide? Were they, I mean, especially when you became a medium, how did they deal with that as well in terms of your interest?
Well, interestingly, at the time, people that have probably grown up in the Catholic or the Protestant religion or the Church of England, whatever, and whatever goes on out in the world, we've always got this: the tarot and medium are evil and of the devil.
Right.
Sort of thing, and it was always going back. And even if you look at the Quran, these kind of things were in that as well. So mum and dad used to say, no, no, that's evil. That's the devil. You've been tempted. Remember the temptation? Adam and Eve. I thought, I'm your Eve.
Okay. Okay.
So, and it took a long, long time. And I eventually just didn't say anything. I just started dealing with things on my own.
Yeah.
And then mum, funny enough, and dad passed. My mum used to watch the programmes Colin Fry, John Edwards and thing on TV. And I'd say, I'm sat here watching this with my mum. She would love it. And she would say, but don't tell the family.
It was
And
yeah.
and she would say, they can do this for some reason. Then when it came to me, like I say, right, mum, I'm doing readings, I'm doing this. Oh my goodness, don't have any of these cards in the house. Don't have this in the house. It's evil. And I went, it's not, mum. It took quite a while for my mum to eventually say, there's no way you can help these people know these things. And even I diagnosed my mum's skin cancer before she was told. She went, there's no way you could know this through nothing.
Yeah.
And I went, yeah. And she actually started believing. But again, this is a hard part, and I do get emotional, and I'm trying to be careful not to. Because mum wouldn't tell the family. That was hard.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But at least on some level, and thank you for sharing that, by the way, it's very personal. But at least on some level, mum was acknowledging something. Sitting watching mediumship with you was her way, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, they say little wins are the best, little wins. So
Yeah.
you have had that time. And I would like to come back to you, not at the moment, because I kind of want to go a little bit onto something else. But there was a great comment. I think it's from Antonio, Richard. I don't know if you can see that. And I think Antonio said that religion is man-made, from my
Mhm.
memory. There you go. Thank you, Richard. And spirituality is our true essence. Yes. And so, okay, and a question coming from that. Thank you, Antonio, for that. A question coming from that for me. What about your own spirituality? How did you then develop that within, you know, because you're kind of being told that you were bad if you did this. How did you develop that aspect of self?
Became wild.
Right.
Wild.
Okay. Right.
I decided, and it's funny looking back now in retrospect. I rebelled because mum and dad didn't smoke. Most of our family didn't. So I didn't see that part of the world. So I decided I'm going to have a drink, I'm going to do this. But what I did find was my senses were becoming more heightened because then through years of studying now, I know the unconscious part of the brain was totally,
Yeah.
there was no stress, there was nothing. So I just then became wild. I done one thing, and as much as I had a lot of friends, I was a bit of a loner. And sometimes my friends would say, we're going out tonight, are you coming? I'd say, no, I want to sit in and read a book. And that's how I started dealing with it. I became a bit more introverted there and after so long. And all I did was read books to get my hand in every culture. Well, not every culture, that would be a bit of a sweeping statement, but a lot of cultures out there to see how they dealt with spiritualism and the unseen worlds.
Yeah.
And that's how I dealt with a lot. I dealt with it on my own. And then I started finding people that were maybe reading tarot cards or cards, and I'd say, right, and they were always different. Nobody took to them because, again, I noticed the pattern. Oh my goodness, they're working with the devil because it's such embedded in society.
Yeah.
The religion part of the devil.
Absolutely.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Just
So
walking in my own.
I mean, I've got to be honest. I mean, I've been still trying to develop a relationship with Creator, with God, however you see that aspect of the divine. Um, because I still have that within me that there's something that maybe I am doing something that I shouldn't be doing.
Mhm.
I've had no clear answers about that. I haven't been stopped because I often ask if I shouldn't be doing this work, then please show me. And it's an unusual thing to say, isn't it? But that clearly comes, that's ingrained again in me and probably everybody that has that kind of fear factor that we're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
But we're not. Essentially, we're not. And in my experience, we're not. I hate to think when I get over there, someone grabs you by the ear. Come here, young man. We need to have the big man upstairs wants a word with you. So I could be in trouble. In terms of your mind, though, in Clara, if you don't mind me saying, there seems to be a part of you that wants to know how it all fits together, wants to know how it works. So you kind of went into mind as well
Yeah.
and researching and worked with the mind. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, what I started doing was I would get books again it goes back to the usual questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose here? Where did I come from? And then I started reading books and I would look at quantum physics. And to this day, I still struggle with it because then we were going into the realms of the magnetic fields of the galaxies. Then I would start looking at what are other cultures in the world doing to see who are we.
Yeah.
I then studied the mind on Descartes' dualism. I looked at neurology things, brain things. It's to this part of the brain we cannot touch.
Sorry, what you mean, the front or the side?
The unconscious.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You can't. This is the part you ask, who am I? What am I? Why do I know good from bad? These kind of things. You
See what
get
I mean?
morals.
Yeah,
This part can't be touched to the brain. Nobody can actually pinpoint it. We can pinpoint your feelings, your emotions, your memory, your speech. You can actually touch all those parts of the brain. But this
yeah,
one part, your thoughts, and they have studied it in philosophy, empiricism, they've studied it in psychology, and it's been there since the very beginning of time. If we go back to the classics like Seneca, Socrates, prior to them was Buddha,
yeah,
every one of them studied it, and nobody can touch this part of the brain. Why are we here? How do we know our moral compass?
yeah,
And that's what I've still to this day in search of. And
yeah.
again, to me, it's like you say, then it's like it thinks the God particle, the time particle as well. Like when we hear this thing that there's no time in the unseen world, spirit world, in my experience and personally, I don't believe that. I believe it's just a mantra we're taught. Because I don't believe, I've not seen many people question that either. We just hear there's no time over there.
Hmm.
How do we know? Because when we're working with someone, or we're teaching and we have our communicators and loved ones come through, there must be time because how do we know we're ready to work?
Maybe it's the concept. Maybe there's a concept because a
Yeah,
lot of things are, I mean, obviously
time
construct
man-made
human.
again.
Yeah, no, I love that though, because I think you have to question it. And we just accept when people say, well, it's a man-made invention for, yeah, but it's absolutely right. I mean, I remember the experience when I saw someone die and I dreamt about it the night before. And it was such a freak accident that in the dream, they told me to pray for him. Now, therefore, that was a finite thing. This guy passed away in that moment, which was beyond a random possibility. It had to be finite and it had to be a time and a place. And we say, well, there's a time and a place for everyone, but then how does that work on on a spiritual level? Absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
It's totally illogical what we're saying then at times. It's like we've just cancelled that out.
yeah, yeah.
And
And
if you look at the philosophers back in the day, again, empiricism, not the classics, they study time. And that's what Einstein studied time
yes,
for the unseen world.
yeah. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Mhm.
And going beyond my pay grade when it comes to science, by the way.
No, it's not your top.
Well, I mean, because the quantum theory as well comes into that, doesn't it? Quantum mechanics,
Absolutely. If you
physics.
go
Yeah.
mechanics, that becomes into the power of words. I'm not a fan of the word manifest everything because I believe it becomes quite flippant and dangerous. So it's
Oh,
like,
okay. Hang on a sec, though, Clara. When you say manifest and it can become quite flippant and dangerous, is it because people our words are powerful?
yeah,
And I've done this. I'm like, do you know what? I want to try and manifest this. But then I've manifest something and I haven't got what, well, I quite got what I wanted, but I didn't actually want that. So
yeah,
there was things that I had to learn, like for example, always making sure it's for my highest good.
mhm,
You
yeah,
know, but again, that's the power of words and understanding our own power. Is that what you're talking about?
yes, because quantum mechanics goes down that field as well, along
Okay.
with philosophy. And again, it's the power of words manifesting. So it's like when you're saying something with emotion, but you're not actually really thinking about it, it can happen. And i.e., when I was younger, I always said when I was about 10, I want to retire in my 40s. Definitely going to retire. That's what I want. Yeah, I did retire, but not how I thought. So again,
Yeah.
it came at a cost of health. I'd always wanted to be a doctor. I didn't become a doctor. However, in my family, like between mum, dad, and my sons, I mean, and me, the medical issues, and my own doctor would laugh and she'll say, "You should have been a doctor with the amount of different ailments." And I'm like, "Yeah." So it's those kind of things, and people can put magic on it. Say it
Yeah.
spells because your
Yeah.
words are spelling.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. That
Mhm.
is interesting. I mean, from my understanding, though, a lot of words and the power that we have goes on a six-dimensional level with sacred geometry, where it creates. I don't know how true that is. Again, we have to, we hear
Question.
different people channeling this stuff, and it's quite an interesting theory. Krish, I'm going to come back to that. Please don't let me forget. Krish has asked, how do we realize what is our true purpose in this life? And I'll come back to that about connecting with a higher self. But I want to ask you, so you talked about manifesting the wrong thing and about the retirement. Can you explain a little bit what you mean, what happened to you? If you don't mind, you can always say no,
Sure.
Paul.
Sure. Like I say, I was young and watching everybody going through the retirements and things and going,
Yeah,
"Oh, I want that." And then in my 40s, can't even remember off the top of my head, about 46 or 45, I had a brain hemorrhage, brain aneurysm. And through the after effects of all that, I had to take my pension because there were so
yeah,
many deficits left at the end of it. There's no way I could go and do my job again that I
yeah,
used to could do. And part of that was also having to give up my driving license medically. Um, and I thought, and I always looked back and said, I always wished for that.
yeah,
And then it came at the cost of health.
yeah. Well, I'm
I've
sorry to
always
hear that.
wished.
I really am sorry you had that experience. That's
Mhm.
quite a profound experience, Clara. That's how do we come back? I mean, you know, forgive me for saying this, everybody, but we all seem to take life. And I guess we all seem to take life for granted, and it can't be helped. It just is what it is. We get caught up in everyday life, but then when these things happen to us, it's such a shock to the system. But how did you manage to come back from that? Because you clearly are. You're doing so well now.
Took me a long, long time. That happened in 2017, September. The night that happened, I was operated in the 11th because it was just all over the weekends and everything. Basically, everything changed because it was the frontal lobe in my brain right there.
Yeah.
And with the operation, they actually told my family, be prepared for my personality to change.
Oh wow.
It went back to front. So I
Wow.
became a new person. And sometimes, even to this day, I think I'm totally different to who I was.
Yeah.
I was in hospital. I was in the ICU for nearly 4 weeks. And again, that memory comes into my head every day at one point, because I died twice on the table. Everything that was straightforward went wrong. But then off the back of that, because I started having a give up license, I was constantly tired. I would slur words, which I still do when I get really tired. Things were going back to front, and I'm seeing why I was becoming frustrated. And that actually said to me, "You're a new you. You can never be the old you." I had to grieve my life, and again, I suppose I pushed against the grain because I wanted to go out. I trained 6 days a week. I was constantly training at gym. I was Muay Thai girl, K1. I'd done all that. All that was gone overnight. So all these
That's
things, and I still now and again grieve them. I still look back and go, my goodness, if only I could do that. If only I could drive again. And that's the hardest thing. People say to me, you get used to it. No, you don't.
no.
No, you don't. And
It's the independence, isn't it?
yep. And there's a lot of things I cannot do. I used to could go just jump in a plane with my job, or I could just go and say, right, let's go here for the weekends, and I'd be fine. I could go shopping on my own, not bat an eyelid. I can't do any of that now.
Yeah.
And even if I go out for a few hours, I always get someone with me, but I then pay the price I have to sleep.
Yeah.
People don't see all that part. And I've just seen that. Did it cause PTSD? Yes, it did. I went through a lot of therapy for that. Social anxiety. Yes, I do have that as well because someone always meets me. I can't
Yeah.
go with loud places now. There's just so much changed. And that
Yeah.
took me, I'm talking a good 4 or 5 years to start accepting it. I've
Yeah.
still not fully accepted it. And I don't think I ever will.
Yeah.
But I would say I'm 80% there now.
Good. Good to hear it. And to somebody like me who has, I would not recognize that within you for having such a
Mm.
problem. It just doesn't. It's not obvious. You carry yourself really well. You're a presenter on SPTV. You've come back. You've kind of gone to the bottom of the lowest of the low, and you've come all the way back out of that,
And
which
I
is,
lost so many friends, Paul, and that was so destroying.
oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And I actually said to one friend, I'll never forget it, my words to her were, the day I handed in my driving license is the day I lost my friend.
Wow.
And she says, no, it's not. And the irony is, without getting into too much, she works in the NHS.
Oh,
I gained a lot of friends though, but a lot of my old friends that were there didn't come back. Because everyone
oh,
hears when people take illnesses. Now watch my mum go through it. Then people leave you and they're not the same. And there's that part because you've not experienced it. Again, you sort of question it. Is that true? Or is it maybe just them? It's actually true.
do, do you think it leads into a social issue around mortality?
Yes.
And it's not you per se. It's more about, geez, we're gonna that whole idea of life is so fragile. We don't want to be reminded of it. Some people are thrust into a position where a loved one has that and they have to care for them,
Yeah.
and so I'm so sorry you had that experience. But then from that,
It's a good thing because look where I am now. And this is what it took me a while to turn my head to.
yeah,
We start looking at how far I've come. And
yeah,
enough you do that in psychology, you start looking at how far you've come.
yeah,
Look at the goals. I would never have been here tonight had that not happened to me.
yeah.
Paradoxically, it's the best thing that happened to me.
Do you think, and it's a great question, Jane, thank you for that. Do you think spirit saved you?
No, And the reason I say this, I say that pretty quickly there. The reason I say this, and I'm being very careful what I say, my cousin died a year to the day with the exact same thing.
Oh, okay. Sorry to hear that.
So I'm very careful with that question because some people, even for the religious side, well, God wanted to save you. And I'm like, so how do I tell my aunt I'm a favourite then?
Yeah, absolutely. So is it just a case of then what we spoke of before? It just wasn't your time at that moment in time. I mean, I certainly believe in that after the experience I had. Chrissy's asked a question. Hi, Chrissy. Good to see you. I can understand because of what my son went through that same Clara, you are one brave woman. Those friends that left are not meant to be in the past. And I agree with that, Chrissy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So onwards and upwards, as they say. Thank you for that. And Chris has put, you came a long way, Clara. You have. You really have. You've done really well. And these things are sent to tries for sure. Clara, did you have an NDE when
Yes.
you experienced this? Can we share?
Yes.
I'm like a child, aren't I? I get
I'm
really
watching your
excited.
face. You're like,
Oh, that's really, I mean, just, it's just so much in terms of people want belief and proof. Well, here it is. So sorry, please, do you mind sharing?
yeah. Again, when this happened to me, the op was going to be 3.5 hours because, funny enough, I was a walking, talking case. Went for the op, 7.5 hours later. I died twice in the table. And I just remember speaking to my mum.
Oh,
And when I met my mum, I spoke to her telepathically.
oh, wow.
Never, ever forget it. And I remember saying, Mum, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. And why am I here? And my mum saying to me
Yeah.
specifically, your blood pressure's dropping.
Oh,
The next minute, within nanoseconds, I was looking at my friends in a house. They were on the sofa, having their alcohol, having a party. But we were talking verbally, just inaudibly, like you and I. And they actually says, hi, Claire. At the time, Claire Running Bear, I used to be called.
okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I'm not gonna
We
ask why.
used to sing that song, Running Bear.
Okay.
And they said, right, it's your turn. Your turn to go and buy the beer then, since you've just come to the party. And I said to them, I don't drink any longer, boys. I went, I don't drink now, I don't party. The next minute, I just knew. I woke up with this big silver blanket foil thing on me and I'm saying, I'm freezing, I'm freezing. And the next minute, I was out. And then it was a few days later when I'd woke up. Apparently, I was in life support. They were going to turn the machine off by the Wednesday.
Wow.
But I woke up and I went, oh, bless those poor souls out there when I woke up. I woke up and the nurses, I said to the nurses, I remember saying, what's happened to my hand? I was crying and I still remember the pain in my left hand. I mean, just below my thumb in the bone. And they said, it's a blood pressure. We've got to sew it into you, all the
Oh,
monitors. And I went, my blood pressure dropped twice, didn't it? And they went, yeah. How did you know that? I says, my mum told me.
oh, wow.
That's what was killing me.
Yeah.
And that's why it was all sewed in. And yeah, so I didn't see the big white flashing tunnel. I didn't see that. And I thought, am I going somewhere I'm not supposed to be going then? Am I going to the big fire?
No comment.
Mhm. And I
So,
went to St. Peter.
but you saw you saw your mum. You communicated with your mum. It doesn't get any better than that.
Doesn't get any better. And again, I started doing more research then because we're always told we speak telepathically when we go over there.
Yeah.
That's not what I experienced. Mum was telepathic, but my party friends were verbal. And I thought, right, so how can someone answer that for me then?
Don't know, but is that just a perception of that particular moment you was in? Perhaps this is the problem with when we're out of the physical body and consciousness and how perception works. So I've had out of body experiences with meditation, but not communication. So yeah, I mean, hi June. June has asked, this is what you're meant to be doing, it to help others, to work for spirit, to be their voice. She's put wish you well as well.
It's lovely, thank you.
Yeah.
And like I say, and I know it sounds cheesy, but without that happening, I wouldn't be here. And I love being here because it is a big family. And looking at everything and the amount of friends I've made through this, and Paul, Richard, Terry, you've all landed on your feet. I'm here.
But bear that in mind. Yeah.
But it's just fabulous. I wouldn't recommend it the way it happened, but it's so great to be where I am now.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll come back to that other question, Richard. Do you mind putting Chris's? Oh, hi, Ashley. She's put amazing experience. Good to see you on here. I want to come back to what Chris asked about, and here we go. How do we realize what is our true purpose in this life? Now, this is a really interesting question because there's a lot of stuff on the internet at the moment about soul planning. I've met two people that remember choosing their parents, which is an interesting concept, isn't it? I remember having the conversation that they chose their parents because of the conditions they were going to find themselves in for their greatest learning.
Right.
Therefore, our incarnation, our existence here on planet Earth is literally like a school of learning. So then, but then how do we just trust that we find our purpose or what we're supposed to be, or is there something else? That's a big question for you, Clara. Sorry. What do you
Sure.
believe around that? Yeah.
I think we'll never know all the answers until we get to the other side.
Of course. Yeah.
I do believe part of why we are here is to be kind,
Yeah.
to be honest, and whether that means you disagree with someone, so be it.
Yeah.
And I also believe we're here to learn how to work with energy in a proper way. And what you would say is manipulate energy, but not manipulate interchangeable, but to manipulate the energy for the greater good
Yeah.
and put things out there that should be there in our path.
Yeah.
Bit sciencey, but I don't. I'm going to sound controversial here, probably. I've said that word, so I'm just going to go, oh, goodness. I'm not a great believer in soul contracts. The reason being, this is for what I believe. Why would I choose this life to put my sons through this hurt? To my mum to choose me to put me through the hurt that I watched her go through? Her life go through nursing her and the hell and things where illnesses with family, with everything else. And I'm like, do we choose that or are we just put here?
But is it not true that pain is another level of love? And the deeper the pain we feel is an understanding of our love that we have or hold.
What makes you think that?
I don't know. I just see a lot of relationships.
Oh, here I'm interviewing you.
No, it's okay. It's just in a lot of relationships that we have in life,
Yeah,
and especially around loss,
yeah,
and whether that's a loss of a pet or a loved one or a relationship, it doesn't matter. Loss is loss and love is love. And I've
yeah.
come to the conclusion in myself that there's certain levels of pain is is actually showing us the depth of our love.
Yeah, because love is, can you really describe it? Can
No,
you really put words on it? No,
no,
no.
no.
And The only thing I do know in this life is nothing's permanent, as Socrates and Seneca would say it, later from a Stoic. It's actually in there from they guarantee as well, nothing's permanent in life. And the Greeks looked at it in a way that it was trying to come to terms, no matter where you're born, who's in your family, just always remember we're not here forever.
Yeah.
That's very, very hard though to put that into action.
Yeah.
When we have emotions.
Yeah, true. Lisa's asked a really good question. What are your thoughts on why we aren't all channels for spirit and why we can't all have the mediumship gift? I'm just going to put my soapbox away. This is your interview, Clara. You say.
Oh.
Well,
right, okay. I'm going to come back to the word mediumship gift. I personally don't call it a gift. I call it an ability.
yeah.
And the reason being is I find the word gift is enough to push someone over the edge, i.e., again, I'll just give you personal experience. I have two boys. One's more mediumistic, one's psychic. How can I say to my two children, you have a gift, but you don't? So that's why I'm very, it's a word I don't like. I just feel we have an ability that we can tap into other worlds. They can tap to us, blah, blah, blah. Why can we not all have it? Because not everyone, I would say, I'm going to come in from a science part here. Not everyone's brain is maybe wired up to have what we call theory of minds. That's when children are 3-year-old and start learning how to be empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got that sciencey part and there, the physiology, okay, the biological side, should I say so.
Okay.
You've also got as well, people can be born with brain damage, or you can go down your life, something can happen, and you're not ready for it. That's why. As well, you can maybe be as well a medium, but you're in a different name for it because every different culture out there in the world has a different name for it.
Yeah.
It's just the UK has to open their blinkers and see that it goes on all over the world.
Yeah.
And we could all be channels at one point. Again, I don't use the word spirit a lot because I want to know who this spirit is. Sometimes, again, that's my logical starts kicking in. Who's spirit? What are they? Are you saying God? Are we saying Jesus then? Holy Spirit? Are we going back to that good old chestnut?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, I think we can all be channels for good, for kindness, for honesty. But when it comes to the mediumship scenarios, are you ready? And also, is biologically, is it capable? And psychological capable? Because some people have cognitive issues that there's no way they could use the unconscious part of the brain. I hope that answers your question. Paul, can you come in and say your piece?
Okay. So, everyone has their own experience and ideas and thoughts. My personal feeling is that mediumship is a natural process. And I think now I believe when it comes to why some people are more gifted in terms of connecting, again, it might come back to it's part of our role in this lifetime. It's something that we've chosen potentially. But I do believe that we all have an ability to connect on some level. So it's taken me a long time to come to that conclusion, and I mean years and years and years. And it's taking me now, and I believe everybody can be taught to, whether it's weak or strong, it doesn't matter. The presence of the divine, which I believe is within us, can be felt in us, and therefore in other words, it is mediumship. So, and therefore you can become the channel, whether it's for poetry, whether it's for inspirational speaking or mediumship, it matters not. The most beautiful thing is that we all connect to this divine. God, I'm on one tonight, aren't I?
Oh, good.
So So it's about the divine source for me. It's about the divine connection that is within all of us, because we are all one massive human family. So I believe, and I believe when we heal, when we use this word healing someone,
Hmm.
all we do is ignite something within themselves to start their own process of healing. So we don't literally heal them because they are a part of the divine. We are all completely connected. Hi Mo. Mo's asked another question. How I'm gonna go straight to this, Mo, because I'm getting on my soapbox. All
Yeah.
right.
I'm like, yeah. Sing hallelujah.
So Mo's, but how do you think spirit keep track of time? Knowing when to come around us, pass on a message through a medium around anniversaries and birthdays. Absolutely. Now I can just say, well, I think it's because they are completely connected to us and they know everything. There's this divine intelligence. Now that's the easy answer. What say you, Clara?
Well, again, I'm going to stick to, I wouldn't call it an easy answer because it's a question.
It's a big one.
Yeah, you've looked outside the box as well.
Yeah.
I do believe there's such a super intelligence and not just one spirit world, because we've got huge galaxies out there, galaxies. I believe they're so super intelligent over there that they know our time before us.
Yeah.
And they can see what we're doing before we even know what we're going to do. Hence, we go back to the very beginning when we spoke about time.
Yeah.
When we're told there's no time, there must be.
There must be something. There's something. Is it an intelligence? Is it yeah, I mean, and when you think about it, all the big questions in life still can't be answered.
Yep.
So, and there's a mystery there, and that's a wonderful thing about life. Mo, thank you for asking that question. We really appreciate you coming on. Also, Clara, before we go too much further, because we are going to do messages, and I'm really excited about working with you tonight. There's one experience I would love, if you don't mind. It's a really personal experience, but it's an interesting concept because I've never heard this before. So can you just, you know what I'm going to ask, don't you?
Do embrace myself, but yep.
Okay. So the experience you had with, well, I'll let you explain when your poor mum wasn't well.
Yeah. Right, I can't,
Um,
I'm trying to close off the emotion side at the same
yeah, I'm
time. Yeah.
sorry, but it's such a powerful story. I would love if you could share it. We would love that.
Okay, now I'll give you a bit of background of me before I get into this
Yeah.
as well. Anyone that knows me, again, bearing in mind my personality has changed, I'm not the most airy, fairy person out there when it comes to mediumships, psychic abilities, whatever. I always look for the logic, just like you, Paul,
Yeah.
Richard, and some of the girls, but always looking at the logic first,
Yeah.
sort of thing. And again, through studying things, what's out there, energies, looking at white noise, everything I'll always look at for communicating radio frequencies. And it was one night, and I'd always heard of angels. Okay. And always would hear people talking angels, we're going to do this, they do that. And again, they're in religion. You would say all in religion. And but they would say angels walk amongst us. That's how I was brought up to believe they walk
Yeah.
amongst us, like people, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So it was coming up to, my mum had leukemia for 12 and a half years, and she was sailing through it, doing well, until it was the diagnosis of skin cancer.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
And that was a year too late. She was diagnosed with skin cancer. And funny enough, you can cope with the word leukemia, but not cancer. So we
Yeah.
were distraught. And there was one night in November, I will never forget this. Mum wasn't breathing properly. And she had a chest infection.
Yeah.
And I says, Mum, I'm going to lie in the sofa tonight. And just looking and watching, she kept saying, No, no, you go to your bed, just you go and get a rest. And I says, No, I just knew something wasn't right. And in all honesty, I was scared to go out my bed. And I always remember I was just lying there and it was about 11 o'clock. I said, right, I'm going to turn over on the sofa. And bear in mind, my mum's bedroom, this was mum's bedroom. Okay, it's all been changed now. And so I'm looking in, this would have been my mum's bed where the patio door is. I was on the sofa just through and I could see through, could see everything. Right, she's okay, but it was this horrible, it did sound like a death rattle.
Okay.
I mean, this is awful.
It's not a nice noise.
No, it was
No.
horrible, and that's why I wanted to be there. So
Sure.
I started settling down. Mum started settling, and as much as I was listening to the noise, I knew she was beginning to sleep. So I said, right, okay, I can sort of doze, sleep. Well, I just started doing this. The next minute, I happened to turn round. I couldn't get comfortable. I turned round and I just happened to look up at my ceiling in the living room. I will never forget this. This thing, this is all I can say, started coming out down through my ceiling at the light. And it was white, it was gold, it was blue, it was the most beautiful colours I've ever seen, but it just started coming down and growing out. And it was just, my heart was racing. I was terrified. I mean, terrified. And I'm looking at it now. You have to forgive me here. I will not swear, but at this point, I'm saying, off, off, off. Okay. And I'm
Yeah.
so you can imagine everything I was saying to this thing.
So how was it coming, like, interdimensionally?
Yeah.
And
It
it
was
looked,
growing down from my ceiling and growing out the way, all these colours. Okay.
wow.
I was terrified. And I kept looking and I'm going, please, 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 please just go away. Please just go away. So the next minute, and my heart's racing again, just thinking of it, I turned away. I should do like a kid. I'd go away, spider, go away. But this was a different fear. I'd done that again and I looked up and it was getting bigger. And I went, get to bleep,
Yeah.
screaming. My mum never heard a thing. Do you know it just went back up, back into the ceiling, going. I was terrified. Now, I am not scared to many things. I've always wanted to see things, but that terrified me, albeit the colours were the most beautiful I've ever seen. And that was the weird thing. The colours were beautiful. I woke up in the morning and I'm going, no, couldn't have been, couldn't have been. And I'm thinking, the angel. And I remember somebody always gave me about 15 years prior when my son was given, when he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at 10-year-old, the book with Lorna Byrne, Angels in My Hair. Now, I was fascinated with that book and I believed everything she said because she had put down angels were not airy fairy. They weren't these things that just fly about and whatever. And I thought, I think that's what that was. I told a couple of people that I thought would believe me, didn't believe me. And they
Yeah.
more or less said, you were dreaming, you were dozing.
You were tired, you were experiencing something else. It's
Yeah.
interesting though, your initial feelings that it was terrifying. Now you would expect with a presence of an angelic force would be beautiful.
That's
Uh,
what I always thought.
so, well, obviously, apart from being mildly disappointed, is it because of the power? You know, there is this reverence, there is this power that we can't explain. Some people have talked about this in biblical terms and some of the scriptures, but this divine being, this power, this source, rather than it being, I think everyone has this concept, whether that's more of a modern idea, that angels are fluffy, loving, and kind.
No.
So, but I don't want to say they're not in terms of to make people fearful.
Hmm.
That's not what I'm saying. But I think there is
Yeah.
this power and reverence. I think maybe that's what you was picking up that made you initially scared. I don't know.
Yeah,
But it
because
did
I
it did
know
do what you told you. You told it to clear off, and that was like, I'm not hanging around.
it
Clara has spoken. Yeah.
didn't. It still kept growing. And even in my head, the next day I'm going, but these colours were beautiful. Why could I not accept the beautiful colours? What was the fear? And I don't get frightened very much at things. And I'm going, oh my goodness. But eventually I did speak to one person who passed the message on to someone else. I can't say their names.
Yeah.
And they got in contact and they went, that was what you thought, it was an angel. And they went, it was real. And they said, don't listen to the other people. They went, because I've not experienced it. And some of these people, and I'm going to put it out there, and I really don't care, they were SNU. And that's not to bring the SNU down, absolutely not, because the teaching in it is fantastic. However, these people, to me, they should have known better, not just.
But yeah, but do you not think that comes down to personal experience though? The problem is you can, and this is the problem with mediumship and people's backgrounds, and it's not being disrespectful. It doesn't matter what names or qualifications you have after your name. If you're having an experience that somebody's never experienced, whether they're a teacher or not, you have to be, there's to be some humility with this, that you having an unusual experience just because they haven't shouldn't be dismissed.
And you have to be open. And for years after that, I didn't tell anybody because I thought, what's the point? As you say, Paul, they've not experienced it. They're going to poo-poo me away, make me think I'm mad. I know what I saw and I was terrified. Had I not been terrified, I'd probably think, oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Then, would I love to see it again? Yes,
Yeah.
but without the fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that was coming back. I'd say, come back, but take this fear away.
Yeah.
That was the difference.
Uh,
And funny enough, it was 6 months to the day now. But then I had my dad come to me, my aunt come to me. I knew exactly when mum was going to pass, the date, time, and everything. 6 months to that night, that day, my mum passed.
oh,
I have now someone I've been speaking to lately who's actually experienced more or less the same. She's lovely, she's adorable. I cannot open this up because that's her choice. It's down to
yes.
her. And we never reach confidentiality.
Yeah.
And our stories are very similar.
Ah.
Timescale, and I went, wow. And
There's synchronicity in that in itself.
yep. And when I had, I mean, I can't believe I'm actually telling this person. Does that mean something? Because she's lovely and whatever. Because, and not the person, but because of the story. And see, when she said, oh my goodness, I know exactly what's happened. I know exactly what it was. And I went, there you go. And it was just validation everywhere. And she's been through the same experience. You can't tell people because they don't believe you because they've not experienced it. And it's like, it's so wrong because then you're made to feel mad. And that's what happened, funny enough, in the 1920s. If you didn't fit in with the status quo, you were put in a mental home.
Yeah. Yeah. You can just be depressed in the 1920s and they put you in a mental home.
But
Thankfully, things have changed.
yes,
Yeah.
that was definitely powerful. Would I say it was an angel? Yes. Would I say they're fluffy and light? Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
Because I think if they were fluffy and light, then we'd all have problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big problems if we were all walking about believing that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you look at again, and I will take this to religion because most cultures talk about them, they certainly don't make them as there's a blinking sky. Oh, cheers, Ariel.
Yeah.
Cheers, Michael.
Yeah. Gabrielle. Don't
No,
forget Gabrielle. Yeah.
he does powerful beings. So there you go. And my mum even, do you know the next day I'll never forget it? My mum, she was fine again. Fine.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I was rattling at that point.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I think we're going to take a break because we're going to come back, guys, to do some messages. If you'd like us to work, guys, please share this program out. It'd be great to get you on. We need to get people in as well to see where we're going and who we've got coming in with us. So, Richard, if you don't mind, we'll go. Oh, okay. Oh, oh, okay. So, well, just before we go to the break, guys, Richard's just come on and said, "We've got it now. We've got Tony's question. Can a spirit be mad or upset at us for what we could be doing? Because I used to film my son all the time. Now I don't at all." Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Mm.
What do you think's happening there? All right. It'd be nice to have a little bit more background on that in terms of, you know,
Yeah.
Richard's gonna just have a quick look. There is more. Thank you, Tony, for this. We'll have a quick look. I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but I do get a lot of orbs come flying up and around me on this screen. It's quite interesting. I've moved the position of my camera and I do get a lot of orbs in here. So, oh, here we go. Can you tell if there's something evil in my new home or just a spirit trying to get my attention? Please and thanks. Can I share my story quickly? Do you mind? I'm going to share my story. I went to see somebody. I was a gentleman. I'm not going to name names, obviously. Oh, there's another question come up here as well. It comes in with that, Tony. Good afternoon. May I please ask if you can tell me who or what spirit is trying to scare me or get my attention? Because some spirit or something SIS, breaking glass cups thrown on the floor, 2 a.m. in the morning, knocking on windows. Just some examples. Can you please tell me if you can? Thank you so much. Right. I went to a house on Tuesday, a gentleman, and he had photographed, pictured videos of phenomenon that was occurring around his house, large bangs, things being moved and thrown. And it turned out to be his lovely wife. And she was just telling him because he'd moved house and she always wanted him to stay in a bungalow. And she said, don't buy a house, stay in a bungalow before she passed. And that's all it was. She was just trying to get a message. Tony, 99.9% of the time, in my experience, it's never something evil. It is normally a loved one trying to give us a message. And it could be because you said you can't feel your son around you. And it could be his frustration because you're saying that. And it's actually him trying to communicate with you. What do you think on that, Clara?
I'm in agreement with you. Plus, it can also be, Tony, the fact that if you're constantly thinking of your son, thinking he's falling out with you, not chatting to you, you can then start actually putting, I don't like the word block, but you then can start think you're not feeling your son.
Yeah.
Start actually training your brain to think that way because our brain is trained to go to the negative first in life. We then have to train it back to the positive.
Yeah.
Also, some things that move in your home, believe it or not, can actually be your own hormones. Your own hormones, if you're at stress levels, can move things.
Yeah.
So I'd be looking at that. Do you have anyone else in the home? We'd be looking at more at a bigger background as well.
Absolutely. And even things like geopathic stress can cause phenomena.
Yep.
So like, and that's literally underground water, things like that. Tony, please don't worry. In my experience, I've never known it to be. It's normally a loved one trying to reassure you that they're there and around you. All right. Please don't get frustrated. One thing I would ask is just ask for some synchronicity for a message, and you'll find that there'll be something you hear on the radio, something that comes through, and it'll be repeated as well. You'll get the same message. So maybe ask a question, is this you, my son? And see what comes through. Okay, so don't be in despair. All right. Thank you for that, Tony. But I think if we can, we're going to go to a quick break and then we're going to come back and do a couple of messages, guys. But thank you so much, Clara, for sharing that experience.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Introducing the SPTV app, your digital spiritual guide for an enlightening journey like no other. Immerse yourself in a world of audio and visual content crafted to inspire, educate, and entertain. Seek guidance with our card of the day, choosing up to 6 cards for personal insights. Enhance your daily life with our wellness section, featuring nutritious recipes, affirmations, and balanced living tips. Explore our spiritualism section for a deep understanding of the religion, its principles, and spiritual answers. Unravel the secrets of the Clares and broaden your spiritual horizon. Easily find local readers, therapists, centers, or churches with our comprehensive directory. Stay connected with live broadcasts, check our schedule, and get to know our insightful presenters. Delve into the meanings of angel numbers, crystals, and a comprehensive list of divination meanings. All of this and more, available for free on the SPTV app. Download now at sptv.uk/app and start your journey with your digital spiritual guide.
Help Spiritual Psychics TV grow our TikTok channel. Connect with us at SPTV UK. We're on a journey to reach our next milestone, and we need your help. Follow us today and support us going live. Imagine getting personalised readings, discovering your card of the day, and so much more. Don't miss out on the opportunity to explore new adventures with us. Follow, engage, and transform. Join our growing community at Spiritual Psychics TV with @SPTV UK on TikTok.
Tomorrow night from 8 p.m, join Clara for a night filled with mediumship teachings and readings, featuring special guests.
Welcome back, everyone. It's good to see you. We're going to work now, which is really exciting. But before we go too far, guys, the Oracle cards, and I've seen some of you talking about them on Facebook as well, that the Oracle cards are now available. Okay, so check that out. Also, if you're based abroad, there is additional postage costs. And unfortunately, SPTV can't do anything about that. For example, USA, I think, is around £21 on top of the price of the card. So we do apologize. But we think they're worth it. And people have been showing them off all over Facebook, haven't they, Richard? Which has been lovely. So we are really excited that they're here and people are using them. Also,
yeah.
And Clara, also, you're on tomorrow night, 8 p.m.
Yep, and that's my development class. Well, not class. We'll bring one of our students on. We're going to bring Pamela Rogers tomorrow again. And the concept of the show is on developing mediums, how we break the mediumship down piece by piece, how we work with the brain, how it triggers memories, and how we work with memories as well.
Interesting.
And we start breaking everything down, and it's through all our senses. Parts of science are in it as well. And importantly, we work with no's. So when we get a no, we get back and see, okay, why did we get that no? Let's work this out. So hope to see you all tomorrow. It'd be lovely. And we would love even if you can join us. That would be good.
Yeah. Yeah, it really would, guys. And let us know if you're there. Are we still doing the Zoom link, Richard, if people can come in? If we have time, if you... Yeah. Oh, we're just going to quickly pass a message on to Tony because I think she jumped off the feed. If you have a look back, we have answered your question. So you can always look us up, guys, on Catch Up. We're on SPTV. We're on YouTube. We're not on TikTok, but we kind of are live on TikTok. We do card readings and that kind of thing. So look out for us on there. No S at the end of my name. Clara.
Yes, Pamela. That's my girl.
You've been told. So, Clara, did you want to go first?
Oh, Paul.
There is this thing about ladies first, you know.
You boys tonight. Boys. Okay, right. I do feel I actually feel I have a man here, and when I have this man, I do know he's a father. I do know when I have this man here, he was a very he was quite a strong character. But I do know at one point he had oxygen problems towards the end of his life. I do feel I'm looking at a pneumonia situation here. I don't feel there was total pneumonia diagnosed, but I know we were looking at pneumonia. I'm also looking at, because I'm actually looking at one of the colours sitting beside me, and it's a red colour. So that tells me bloods were taken to check his blood levels, because he was anemic as well, that caused oxygen issues. Okay, so I do know I've got a father. I do know he was a strict father. I know I would never have told my son, I love you, because I was quite a hardy man back in the day. Okay, now, would anyone know, understand that? And I'm looking for my son here. Paul, might that be you?
Yeah, I did wonder.
Can I quickly run with this link? Because I think
Sure.
I'm with Paul Bannister, actually. And then, if you want, we'll do another one then.
Yes,
I'll
please.
I'll make up for it. Okay, and I do know when I have this father as well, would you understand again, I have to get back to this condition here. Okay,
So I was helping him with the oxygen mask at the end.
thank you. And I do know when I have dad here as well. Now, I won't look at you much when I'm working because I do work visually at times, which would be clairvoyance for you peeps out there. I do know as well, he never verbally much said, I love you.
He didn't know.
Alive. And I do feel as well when I have him here, now that's my symbolism to tell me I wasn't always in the family. Okay, I sort of step back. Okay.
Okay.
As you know, we have to be careful how we open things up. We do have personal responsibility. But I do want to say as well, when I have your dad here as well, it could be triggered very quickly because I'm doing this with my fingers. So I know he was temperamental. And one thing you could just flip.
He's a bit grumpy, yeah.
Yeah, grumpy. Grumpy. Okay. I do want to say father like son there.
Listen, if you're a Norwich fan, you'd feel my pain. That's all I'm saying.
And I do also want to say as well, when I have your father here as well, you would have helped him drink, okay? Because I have to get the drink to my lips here, okay? And I know you'd have helped him with that part. I do want to say as well, when I have him here as well, you would have had to pick things up for dads because I'm picking things up with my hands here.
Yeah.
Right? And I do know he did say thank you at one point, albeit it was a bit too late. And I know it was just a whisper. Because I've heard the whisper in my ear. Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
I do want to say as well, when I have your dad here as well, he's sitting saying there was times he just murmured coming up to the end of his life. And it was little murmurings that we couldn't always hear. All right. And I also know as well, when I have your dad here, that the name James has to link in there as well.
I keep getting that, and I don't know a James.
Give me a minute, give me a minute, give me a minute, because that's a no. Right? So, I want to say when I put the James here, I have to put the gym link to him. And I have to say this would have been a social outing with father, because would father have drunk alcohol at one point?
He wasn't a go down the pub man, but he did drink.
Thank you. So that's a yes, drunk alcohol. Oh! Pamela Rogers will tell you off here.
She already has. It's too late.
There we go.
Too late.
So I do have to go there, and I actually have to look at, it's quite interesting here, I'm looking at Wimbledon as well, so I have to go to London here, because I've taken the Lassie Pims.
Yeah.
So I do know Dad as well, this is where I put the friend James, because I have to say this was a friend of the family, and I think visualise with James.
Yeah, it's probably his side of the family somewhere.
Right. I do know as well, when I have him here as well, I have to say his mother would be in spirit, because I have to go to the grandmother here.
Yeah.
I know your gran would come in as well. This would be Dad's mum as well. I've got two different personalities coming in again. They were like chalk and cheese here. Okay. And I do know as well, when I'm going here, I'm going to the Garden of England. I have to go to Kent as well. So I'm up in London, then I'm down in Kent.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I'm travelling a bit everywhere here. I feel Dad was a questioner in life, and funny enough, when we spoke about questioning everything, we call critical thinking at times. Dad was a critical thinker, and he would question everything. And he would question you. If you'd done something, he would question everything. Dad knew how to sort money out and put money away.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've got a wheeling dealer here. Okay. I want to salute your dad as well. So I want to get back here and see Dad would have been involved in bits and bobs. Okay.
When you say bits and bobs and you want to salute him,
Yeah.
do you mean the army?
No, not the proper army. I
Ah.
can't go to the proper army. At the moment, I'm showing a different type of army.
Yeah, it was a conscript.
Right, thank you. Because
So
I have to go separate here. Okay.
yeah, national
And I do
service.
know, thank you. And I do know there was at times Dad would have what we call, how can I say this? This doesn't mean what I mean. It's like a hit list. Okay. So I knew your dad had his list of what he had to do.
It's probably a hit list knowing my dad now. Yeah.
And I know I like the bowl of pasta because I've just seen the pasta here coming in. Okay, and I know it sounds that's a bit way out there, but Dad has given me I like pasta, I like carbohydrates, I like staunchy food at times because I don't feel I'm always going for the finer foods in life. Okay, I know I like to make a show. Okay, but he did like his good old stodgy food at times. I see the Red Lion written as well here, the Red Lion. And I feel I'm going to somewhere in London here with this.
Okay.
Okay. And I have to give the Red Lion as well. I don't even know if it's Red Lions for England, but I have to go to the England football team here. Okay. And I have
Okay.
to follow that. I have to go to Essex. Again, I'm going to the clubs in Essex. Okay.
Okay.
And I feel that's coming to you, so I'm dropping a bit of psychic here. But I do want to say when I have your daddies coming in to say, thank you, Paul, for what you've done for me, because you did not have to do that. And you came in and you helped me towards the end of my life. And that's something you didn't have to do. And I'm sorry that you didn't get everything that you should have got from my belongings. It's the only way I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But things will come when you should.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you. And I do know I feel I've got a mum here. I feel I'm more like this lady. I passed with a cancerous condition. I'm going to the stomach area here. So I know this started in the stomach, and I hope to goodness I'll know with one of you two again. I'm going to the stomach here, and I feel this travel through my body, but I definitely started the cancer through the stomach. Okay. I do have to say I was in and out of hospital, but I didn't want to get checked because I didn't want to tell everyone what was wrong with me because I didn't want to believe it myself. I am looking for my daughter tonight, and I do believe there would be a boy in here as well tonight, a man, should I say, boy. Okay, and I want to say as well, okay, that there's two people in here tonight would be able to take this. I do have to get sing Rod Stewart, Maggie May, to have a football link here, and I do like the finer things in life. Okay, so Mum had a cancer that started in the stomach. It did metasise, meaning it travelled all over the body. Right, because I then have to come to the breast area, and I know she had breast cancer.
Yeah.
So,
If you know if this is for you guys, let us know. Put a comment into the box and let us know if this is for you or you think it's your mum. That sounds like my nan. Hi, Serena.
hi, Serena. Thank you, but I have to put that as Mum, darling. She's definitely a mum. They'll come through in the link. They'll have done. If it was your nan, she would come in and say, "I'm your grandmother." I have to go with Mum. Okay.
Gwendolyn. Hi, Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn says, sounds like my mum.
And would you understand as well, and interestingly, I have spoke about religion being man-made earlier on tonight. Would you also understand as well your mother did have faith? Because I am seeing a Bible here and I've got the cross. All right. And I have to say as well with your mum, I cherished everything in life. And family was the most important thing to me in life. I did cherish family, but again, I didn't. I cherished family, that was the main thing, but I kept quite private with things. I didn't want everyone to know my own business. And I didn't like people like with family and own business. Okay. I was a very family orientated, but a very proud lady I have here. I know as well she liked to sing. Okay, because I'm singing here when I have her. And I know as well I have to go. I feel I'm at some church scenario, and I have to go back here at church, but I don't feel I always went. I'm baking, I'm giving goods to the community, and I'm helping the community when I have this beautiful mum here. And I know your mum was a beautiful, beautiful soul. I know she did have tears before she passed. Is it Gwendoline? Because I feel I had this, I wanted to clear things before I passed, that you didn't have to do everything. I didn't want my family going through the heartache of clearing my belongings, but I didn't get everything cleared. Okay. I also want to say your mum would have had, I've got glasses here. I don't feel I wore the glasses all the time because I'm picking glasses up and I'm putting glasses down. I feel also, would mum have a sister, Gwendoline? Now, we say we don't ask questions, but of course we do. We have to ask a question or we'll never get a yes, no, or I don't know. All right. But I do feel as well, and I feel like it's something patchwork belonging to mum since she's passed over, because I'm looking at a patchwork and someone talking about making, is it clothes into some sort of cushion for mum? But it has to be a clothing on it as well. Okay, I don't know if it's been done yet, but we are looking at having that done for mum. Okay, and I do want to say as well, not everyone could be there with mum. Okay, but we did care for mum best we could, Gwendoline. Okay, and I do have to say as well, right, okay, would there be grandchildren there? And funny enough, again, I've got the name grand coming in, but that's just from I seen that earlier on. And I know there's grandchildren still here. So mum would have loved being with grandchildren. Yeah, and she did sing in church, thank you. And it's funny, I'm hearing, and it's not the usual what I would hear, how great thou art. I'm hearing Oh Holy Night. So that tells me Christmas was important to mum, but I have to go as well to Christmas. That's when things started going a bit downhill as well, and with mum's health. And I have to come to March here with mum, and I feel between March I've got a birthday and a passing in the month of March coming in. And I do know mum though that she was such a beautiful soul, and when I'm feeling her coming through here, that she was all about showing love. She showed love all the time, and that was her thing. And she was all about show emotion, don't be scared to show emotion. And she's also saying as well, be honest. Mum was all about honesty. Everything had to be about honesty no matter what you did. Okay, so just know that mum's come through this evening, and I have to give you the name Pat when I've got mum here, so I feel Pat has to link in there. And funny enough, I've just seen Dallas, Sue Ellen. Okay, so I'll get back to Sue Ellen coming in here. Okay, so I know somebody would have liked a tipple round about mum. All right, and when a child is born with John and Martha, she also likes. Okay,
Beautiful.
Alan. So you
Beautiful.
comes with you those tears. Thank you. Thank you.
We have serenading from the angels, Clara. Can you hear that?
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gwendolyn, for working with us. That's awesome. Emotions always honest. Awesome. Now I've got a dad coming in. I know dad, as he comes in, is also a granddad. But Richard, you're putting me right off, mate. as much, I've got 5 minutes to get this message out, so I'm going to get this message out. And I know as I connect here with this gentleman, and Richard just keeps making me. And I know he's given me an unusual name. I've got the name Archibald, but I believe it was brought down to Arnie or Arnold as well, because they didn't like Archibald, because he's talking about that. I also know, I keep saying his dad, but dad has a really heavy presence about him as he comes in. I know he's a grandfather as well, because he's telling me he's a grandfather too. I know there's a beautiful lady with him that comes in from the spirit world. I've got potentially his partner with me, but I'm not absolutely sure because they're not together as such. And also he's trying to give me the sorry, May the 21st for a birthday as well. And if you can understand that, please let me know. I also know that Dad had an operation before he went into the spirit world. And I know he spent some time in hospital. So, and I believe it was around the heart as well that he has a problem. And Clara's just put, keep singing, Richard. You saboteur, Clara, you saboteur. Yes, we can hear you singing. No, no. It sounds like someone's on the toilet, to be fair, the kind of singing that we're hearing, Richard. So, okay, okay. I know
Paul.
I can't do this. I can't do this. This is under. That's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry, mate. We'll carry on. I know I've got Dad in. He keeps trying to come in, but I feel, Clara, I'm hoping this isn't connected to you, because I've been taken to Edinburgh with this. Okay, so this could be my turn. Okay, would you understand with Dad that he was quite, how can I say, it's very powerful, strong-minded man. He had a really heavy presence. When he walked in your room, you felt his presence. If you tell me that Dad was like a ballerina, absolutely not, but he's a gentleman, really strong-minded, really quite an intelligent man as well. But as he comes in, there's something about your fence crumbling as well. There's a problem with the fence.
Yeah. So Dad, you knew when he came
Don't
out,
tell me yes, no, or maybe, because Pamela's going to be on to me.
and Archie, yes, that was my uncle, Archie. It was
Didn't
shortened to Archie.
He didn't like Archibald, did he?
No.
Okay, can I just bring Dad's love in? I know I'm very much aware. I know you've been talking about Mum all night, and maybe that's why they're here. But Mum is with Dad. Although, forgive me for saying that, there would have been a little bit of friction with them. I'm not saying she didn't love him, because she
Yeah.
does, but there would have been a little bit of friction between them. You know, that kind of like,
It's George and Mungard.
yeah, yeah. So also, would you understand the name Fiona that they tried to give me earlier? The name Fiona also May the 21st we've just gone past it for a birthday. May the 21st, I wanted to acknowledge. Also, they keep showing me what looks like a very old Gothic church.
Yes,
And they're showing me that as well. And I believe at least one of them is in that church. Do you understand that? In
that's
the cemetery. But there's also with that, you've got to be careful with the access because it's very slippery. It's very slippery. It's like flagstones to get you step up into the church, into the churchyard. Does that make sense?
yes.
Okay, that's where he keeps taking me. Also, would you understand the little girl that passed as well?
Yeah.
She's also here with him.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you all their love. I'm so sorry it wasn't for anybody at home, guys. I'm so sorry. That's because we've been talking about your mum lots and your parents. They probably just wanted the last say, just like my parents would. So please accept their love. Thank you guys for watching tonight. Clara, thank you so much for being a guest tonight, for sharing your very personal experiences. We can't thank you enough. And guys, we're back in 2 weeks. Clara's back on though tomorrow night, so don't miss that. And SPTV, you can always go on and watch us on catch up. And we love your support. So please subscribe, please share. We just appreciate your loyalty and your support. So guys, for now, I'm in Long Stratton tomorrow night in Norfolk for a charity evening, a demonstration of mediumship. If you're in that area, please pop down and support the charity. We would love to see you. Otherwise, guys, I will see you in 2 weeks' time. And as Mo said, thanks for a lovely evening. Thank you, Clara.
And thank you. Thank you. That was lovely. Thanks for the singing, Richard.
Richard, thanks for the singing. Yeah, it was brilliant.
Mum's funeral was the 22nd of May.
Ah, okay.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yes, I've done that, Richard. But it's okay. We're still present. Yeah, no, I did that. I did remind people. Well, yeah, Richard's singing like I'm just worried about Richard, you know, he's singing like Elvis in the background. So I'm sure. Oh, beam me up, Scotty. Anyway, guys, we'll see you again in 2 weeks, and don't forget Clara, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with some more great mediumship.
Thank you so much. Thank you.